Hey, good morning, everyone. It's about 11 o'clock. A little update here on the tropics. We've been talking about Florence for a while. We knew it was going to strengthen, and absolutely, this storm has strengthened now up to Category 1 strength once again, and it's rapidly intensifying. I expect it to get up maybe to Category 2 later today, and by tomorrow, potentially back to a major hurricane. So Florence gaining strength rapidly now, moving west at around 6, gusts to 90 miles an hour around the center. The hurricane hunters are going out there, but that's really important. They're collecting that data, and that data goes into the initialization of the model, so that really helps us out as getting better model data. North and South Carolina landfall looking more likely, not a guarantee, but it looks more likely now, and the storm surge is going to be significant. I'll show you that coming up in a minute. And torrential rain possible, especially on the right-hand side of the storm. Now, we still don't know exactly where it's going to move on shore. There's still a large area here of where it could be, from anywhere along our coastline to all the way across the South Carolina coastline. So you can see that big fan there of where it's going to go, and it might make its way on shore as a Category 3 hurricane or 4, which is a major hurricane, which would be absolutely catastrophic to have a storm that strong moving on shore. All right, so you can see Florence. Look how it's been moving due west now for about 14 hours straight. We hope to see a little bit of turn to the north. We're not seeing that yet. Here's a closer view. You can see how it's bubbling up here around the sides. That's an indication this storm is getting stronger, and I think it's moving into an area where it's going to rapidly intensify, and again, potentially up to a Category 2 later today. Winds at 75. There's that gust to 90. Slow movement. The pressure dropped now down to 984 millibars, and that pressure will continue to drop rapidly as the storm gains some strength. Notice quickly up to maybe Category 4 strength here, and it's going to be off our coast. This is Thursday at around 8 o'clock in the morning. Winds at around 140 miles an hour. And again, we can't take these numbers for sure, but we know it's going to be a large wind field with this storm, and the seas are going to be significant being pushed along. And so anywhere along our coastline and all the way down to potentially Georgia state line there is where this storm could be. Most of the data we're looking at does make a landfall, right? But there's a couple models that try and have it turning to the north a little sooner, which would be good news because that would be staying off our coastline. But look at the cluster of the models now. Again, it's much tighter than yesterday. Yesterday, the span went from Florida all the way off our coast. Well, now that's narrowed significantly as we're getting more data to go into the initialization of the model. So we were seeing more consistency here. And that red line, by the way, that's the official track of the National Hurricane Center. And I'm telling you, I don't want that to happen because that's going to move right up into the triangle and then potentially slow down. If you believe the European model, it slows significantly. Once it makes its way inland, it kind of stalls and retrogrades and drifts back south. We don't want to see anything like that. And that's all speculation at this point in time, too, for us to talk about things like that. But I will say the GFS does something similar. It comes up to the Outer Banks, then it kind of just stalls and lingers for a couple of days before getting pushed out to sea. No matter where this goes, the seas are going to be significant. All along the coastline, we could have seas potentially at 22 to 30 feet. Maybe a little bit higher. Obviously, the right-hand side of the storm, where we have most of those strong winds pushing, is where the water is going to be the deepest. When you have a large hurricane, these storms are so massive, the area of low pressure, the vertical motion is literally lifting the ocean up a little bit. That, coupled with the strong winds pushing that water forward, and then on top of that, there's other things that we can consider. The angle of the coastal shelf also determines wave height, and the timing. If it comes in during a high tide, all these things can make for an incredibly bad storm surge. So let's go ahead and say, for argument's sake, this could be a Category 3. Not saying it will be, but let's say it is around a Category 3 and it makes its way onshore somewhere between South and North Carolina. On the right-hand side of the eye, we're talking about potential of 9 to 12 foot storm surge. I mean, you think about how high. I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. I mean, think about how much water is going to be pushed inland. Right? So that's a significant surge we haven't seen in a long, long time. You have to go back to Fran to talk about storm surge like that. And if it's a Category 4, it could be even higher, right? So we're not saying this is going to happen, but when you see the models and you see the trends going this way, someone along the coast is going to have to deal with a surge like that. And again, we don't know where that's going to be. And a lot of times we won't know where that's going to be until literally 6 to 12 hours out, because we see a lot of jogs in the last few hours with a storm like that. So everyone needs to prepare. And already the rip current risk is elevated to high today in most locations, a little strip in the moderate there on the Crystal Coast. But it's going to be high for days and days and days. So bad idea to go out in the water for the next week. So again, looking more likely North and South Carolina landfall later on Thursday. Significant storm surge a possibility here. That really a possibility. So we got to watch for that torrential rainfall, not only at the coast, but inland areas. If the storm goes inland and slows down, we're talking about significant rain. Now remember Matthew, it rained 10 to 15 inches, and that doesn't sound anything close. We know what the results were, anything close to like a Harvey, where they got 50 inches of rain, right? Well, the thing is, if you remember Matthew, the week before, there was a unique situation with a stalled front, and we got nearly 10 inches of rain. So the ground was already completely saturated. In some cases, still big puddles everywhere. So the first raindrops that fell with Matthew instantly became runoff and started flooding. So we're not going to see a repeat of that. So if we do get a big amount of rainfall, I don't expect to see that level of flooding unless the totals are higher than that. And this is all speculation, right? So if we can prepare now and get all the things that you need, that's probably the best thing you can do. Power outages are also possible, not at the coast only, but inland. If the storms go inland, a lot of trees get pushed down, power outages go too. So at home, you should have water, non-perishable foods, a lot of canned goods, a lot of water around the house if you can. First aid kits, always important. Flashlight, batteries, and cash. If you lose power, it's not pleasant, especially with this heat and humidity, right? Car and solar powered chargers for your phones to be able to stay connected to people. If there's no power, how are you going to charge your phone? Solar powered is awesome. Just stick it there in the windowsill. It'll charge your phones up quickly. Well, maybe not quickly, but it'll charge them up. And don't forget the pets. You have plenty of supply of food for them and their medication and your medication as well. Make sure you don't run out of that. So again, this is not sounding the alarm. This is going to happen, but the potential is there. We're going to have to watch it very, very closely. We'll have another update for you coming up at 5 o'clock and then again at 11 o'clock tonight. Have a great day.